Well, I think, that's playoffs, right? Game one goes away, it does. We respond in game two, they respond in game three. Now it's kind of on us again to respond the right way and find our level again. They were obviously the more desperate team yesterday, and coming off a big loss in Dallas, and we've got to flip that script tomorrow.
Pete, you've talked previously about not getting pushed out of the rink. Do you feel that happened yesterday, and if so, how do you prevent that?
Yeah, I don't think it did. I mean, I think they're a physical team. I think, we have made them pay on the power play for crossing the line. We didn't yesterday. We've got to do that. That's a piece of it. But we're a big, heavy team too. I think there's no doubt they were a little more desperate than us, which probably made it look like they were the more physical team. But I think we have that game, and when I look through the 3 games so far, I don't think that's been a story. I think it looked like it was maybe a story last night just because we weren't as competitive as we needed to be.
You've been through a lot of deep playoff runs. I feel like the intensity kind of ramps up for the crowd on the road as well.
Yeah.
Just how do you handle, or how do you kind of coach your players to handle that stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, handling momentum on the road swings in hostile buildings is tough. That's all part of it, and you got to have a composure to you, and you've got to have a trust in the foundation of your game. When the other team has momentum, when the crowd's into it, that's when you have to rely on your foundation, your breakouts, your defensive zone coverage, your forecheck. If you start running around in those situations and lose that, that's when all of a sudden, instead of being down 1 or 2, you're down 4 or 5. But I said last night after the game, I mean, that's a 2-1. It's a 2-1 game, regardless of how it looks or feels or anything else. It's a 2-1 game, kind of in the middle of the game, and their second goal, we get beat on a 1-on-1, right? Was it Johansson's goal? And the third goal is a Foligno tip on the power play on a Delandria penalty that I didn't think was a penalty. I think Boldy fell kind of on his own going through the middle of the ice. So, little unfortunate. All of a sudden we're down 3-1. The shots are fairly even. I mean, the game got away from us in the third. We opened it up, gave up some odd man chances trying to get ourselves back into the game. But that game was still, I thought, kind of in our grasp if we execute a little bit and do a little bit more at that time.
Robertson said last night that he thought you guys maybe were a little too patient, or he used other words, but in the power play, that you were thinking that the players may have been thinking that there was going to be another 1 or 2 or 3. Did you sense that, and how do you guard against that?
Yeah, well, I think it's natural when you put up 7 goals the night before. It's crazy, but coaches can talk to players all they want. Hey, you're not going to have that room again. They're going to tighten up. They're going to respond. Yeah. There's one ear out the other, and then all of a sudden, you get smacked in the side of the head. I think that's just what happens. So, and I think we probably felt a little too good about ourselves after the second game, the way the second game went and how easily we scored, and they obviously corrected that, and we've got to make sure we're ready and find other ways next time.
They talked about in Dallas that to get through Jake, they're going to have to do stuff like screen him and things like that. How can you on the other side prevent against stuff like that, where they feel they can't really get through Jake clean, so they're going to have to do other things? Yeah,
well, we've just got to be better. Again, you look at the goals last night. We get beat on a face-off. Both our guys lose inside position. It's a read you make 99 times out of 100 and box out and stay on the right side, and both our guys lost position. Free goal. Get beat 1-on-1 free goal. You know, that's uncharacteristic stuff. So we've just got to clean that up. You got to this time of year. You've got to. It's all in the detail.
How do you assess your group of defensemen right now?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think I like our defense. I think we got a nice blend of some big, heavy, physical guys, some skaters, and some puck movers. You know, I think like our entire team game. I mean, you know, there's some nights I like them, some nights I don't. So if you ask me after game 2, I loved them all. Today I'm so.
And then how do you improve even strength scoring? We talk about the power play a lot, but
Yeah.
it just seems like even strength you're not getting the chances you may have gotten during the regular season.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. Like, I mean, you know, if you look at the 3 games, you know, game 1, we had a really slow start like a lot of teams did around the league, first home game of the playoffs. Second, third, overtimes, I thought we created quite a few chances to score, played pretty well. Game 2, created quite a few chances to score, scored. You know, we didn't last night. So I don't think it's all of a sudden playoffs we're not generating, not scoring. You know, we didn't last night. We got to fix that.
I know Ryan's a veteran, has dealt with this stuff in Nashville and now here as well. But the boos and the chants and stuff like that, when they're as kind of loud as they are, do you have to talk to them at all, or the team, or does it throw anybody off or anything?
No, I don't think it throws you off. I think certain guys thrive on that. I don't think Suits has a problem with being a villain. You know, I think some guys thrive on that. I think he's got that DNA. I think that drives him.
Pete, in this series so far, Kaprizov hasn't really had that breakout game, nor has Robertson. And I know we're only 3 games in, but they tell us it's every game in the playoffs is double, so it feels like 6 games in. But is, in your experience as a coach, is it simply a matter of these younger, skilled players, and I don't ask you to speak to their player, but more to yours, is it a case of them just playing their game when the playoffs start, or is it figuring out over a period of time how their game adapts to playoff hockey?
Yeah, I think for sure it's the latter. I think you have to adapt your game. It's a different game, playoff time. The intensity's different. The attention to detail is different. The attention those guys get is different than a regular season game when you're rolling in here for 24 hours and then heading to the next city. So, and you see that, you know. Connor McDavid, every year you see him, you know, finding a little bit more ice, finding different ways to score. I mean, all young scorers that come into the league have to go on that journey and figure it out. And it's not easy, you know. It definitely doesn't come as easy. And those guys judge themselves on their numbers because that's just what they do. And you know, sometimes you have to take that away too. You can't just judge yourself on the numbers. You can play a hell of a playoff hockey game and win 1-0 or 2-1 and still contribute.
To that line, Jason Robertson.
Yeah.
Just 10 playoff games. You know, what have you seen from him? Just learning what Randy has kind of said as well. What he needs to do to really find those areas that McDavid has done over the course of his playoff career. Can he learn it in a short amount of time? Yeah,
it's a great question, Hetty. I think he wants to. I think he's willing to. I think he wants to look at the analytics and the tape, and he wants to learn. You know, but it's not easy for a guy that's, you know, used to time and space and the puck on his stick. So, you know, he sure wants to. I have no doubt he's going to get there. You know, obviously we want him there a lot quicker than later, but he's working at it.